Hey BGC teens, my name is Miss Michelle, and today we are talking with Miss Cyndi, who works with us at the Boys and Girls Club of the Austin area. Miss Cyndi, would you go ahead and introduce yourself and please tell us what your role is with BGCAA?
Hello, everyone. My name is Cyndi Hernandez. I'm the Director of Volunteer Engagement at the Boys and Girls Club here in Austin.
Great. So what are the
Company for about 7.5 years.
7.5 years? So you're invested in our mission and to help these kids. And even though you don't work directly with our kiddos, you bring folks into our organization to help volunteer for the programming, right?
Yes, correct. I started off as a club director, so I know the importance of having volunteers come into the clubs to assist and to help out with all of the activities that are provided by our Boys and Girls Standards.
Nice. So what kind of roles do volunteers do at Boys and Girls Club? And if you could just talk a little bit about volunteering as a whole, like what does volunteering even mean?
Well, volunteering is a fun definition because it's an offering. It's not required. It's someone working side by side. It allows the people that come in to connect with the individuals or the groups that they're working with, opposed to having to be there as an employee. So they're there by wanting to be there. So that makes it more comfortable for the volunteer to come in or volunteers to come in and help with activities to make it more fun, because it's not, as a volunteer, you're not going in there going, oh, I'm going to work. You are going to a job site, but it's a volunteer capacity.
Right. So you're not getting paid for work that you do while you're volunteering somewhere. Is that correct?
Correct. You're getting paid by tons of hearts all over the place. If it was a screen from Facebook, you'd see hearts just going up and down. Heart, 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 heart.
So it sounds like it's something that's to volunteer, something that's rewarding and something that is often like praised, and you do it out of love and care, right?
Correct. Most of the kids that get volunteers look forward to them coming back week after week or every 2 weeks or whatever the rotation is, because they get accustomed to being with those people, because they get attached and there's a connection, and that gives us more safety and the kids feel more at ease around them. And of course, that also helps out with the staff, because they know that they're getting someone in there that wants to be there to be able to be with the kids and be side by side with them, instead of having to go out there and try to do everything by themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So I really want to talk to our teens about the opportunity that volunteering is. So I want them to, think about how can I become a volunteer or a good volunteer for somewhere that you care about. So can you talk to me about what makes working with volunteers exciting? Like what do you look for when you work with these volunteers?
Well, for starters, volunteers are people that can come to the site again, and it's not a requirement. So first of all, you have to be over 18. You cannot be a high school student. You have to be, in high school, there'll be mentoring in a different type of capacity. But as a volunteer, you're coming in and wanting to be there again, and you want to be there to empower yourself and others to know that you're going to be there helping, and you're going to be creating a connection. You're going to be leading by example. You're going to communicate. You're going to teach all the kids things that you learned as you were growing up. In other words, you're just giving back in a capacity that they're not used to having someone there they can count on besides the staff from Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, that does make sense. And so it does make sense. And something I wanted to talk about is that sounds like that's a specific requirement to be over 18 for Boys and Girls Club, right?
Correct. Yes, okay. It is over 18 because we don't want high school students and our own kids. I don't want to use, there's got to be a line, and 18 is the number that was given, and that's the standard that I use. And then once they graduate and they're off in college, they can become volunteers into the clubs again.
Yeah.
And clubs.
Do you know of any volunteer opportunities that younger people can do in the community? Like, even if it's not with the Boys and Girls Club, like.
Yes, they can go to the food bank. Most of the time they can go to any organization, but I guarantee you that they will get their most time spent with the food bank because there's so many of it and the need is so great. And that one, there is not an age limit. But if they start there and then they graduate and they go off to college, as soon as they're enrolled in college, then they can come back and try to get in with Boys and Girls Club, not just in Austin, but across the country.
Cool. Yeah, that's a really good idea, going with the food banks. There's always a ton of opportunities for people to volunteer, especially in Austin. There's a lot of chances to volunteer. So
yeah,
what are a few qualities that a volunteer should have? And it doesn't have to be at the Boys and Girls Club, but what is a volunteer? What are the characteristics of a volunteer?
a characteristic of a volunteer: they must be a team player. They must be committed. They must know how to communicate. They must be reliable. They must believe in the cause that they work with, whether it be the food bank, whether it be Boys and Girls Club, whether it be whatever organization. If they're going to be a volunteer, they must believe in the mission. If they don't believe in the mission, then they're not going to be successful as a volunteer. Creativeness, flexible, energetic, passionate. I mean, the list goes on. But mostly they need to be believing in the mission. Just like you and I. If we didn't believe in the mission, we would not be employees of one of the greatest organizations. And that's the Boys and Girls Club.
Absolutely. And that's really important work, right? Like giving back to an organization and caring about the mission and making sure that you're really invested in the work. So I think one of the biggest questions is like, why volunteer? What's the point? If you're not getting paid, if you're not, part of the organization officially, what is the word? What is the payoff of volunteering?
It's very simple to me, and it's not a documented Webster's Dictionary volunteer, hear all, say all, etched in stone. But I believe that if you are working side by side and connecting with the young kids, that you are giving back, you are setting an example or leading by an example, and you're there to achieve the same goal: safety and success.
Yeah, so you're offering your time in order to make sure that you're contributing to a greater cause, right? It's to make a difference for others.
It's to make a difference for others. Again, you're leading by example. You can go and spend 1 hour a week, if that's the only time your work schedule allows 1 hour a week. I guarantee you that 1 hour that you volunteer, whomever you're with, they will appreciate it because you've taken the time to come and spend your hour with them. And they will be indebted and grateful because you have wanted to make that connection without requirement, without pay. Just you coming makes all the difference.
Yeah, those are amazing benefits. I think it definitely, for me, I like every time I've volunteered somewhere, I feel like I've grown a connection or like built my network of people. I've met some amazing people. So if somebody were to volunteer, how could they use that volunteer experience? Like where can they invest those different experiences that they gather?
It also looks wonderful on the resume, but as like a college student going into a degree a pathway, and on their resume they can put that they volunteered at whatever their specialty hour education background would be, and they have hours of volunteering already in that. First of all, that shows the professors that you're really invested in wanting to be in that field because you're already volunteering to see what it's like before you even complete your education. Also, it also gives your prospective employers, seeing it on a resume that you have volunteer hours at this, and this, shows that they have, that individual has the character, the motivation, the communication, the leadership skills, all of those adjectives I use to describe a volunteer for their new workplace. So it combines all of what you do. Again, it's all an offering, it's not required, but it looks good on the resume, and it also looks good for the employer, and it also makes you feel good.
Awesome. That's great advice, Miss Cyndi. I think that's a really key point. Like if you are interested in one field, you can do all the volunteer experience in that field. You want to be a doctor one day, you can go and maybe volunteer at a nursing home or somewhere that can give you experience with that kind of work. I think that's really good advice.
Yeah, it also gives you hands-on experience as well. So it's a win-win for everyone, especially the kids.
Yay, it is. We love volunteers, and we definitely encourage our teens to go and try volunteering if you haven't already and get all that experience that you can. So that way, when you're applying to colleges, to jobs, you already have a lot of experience on your resume, and you have been able to give back to the community, build your network. That's all really good advice, Miss Cyndi. Thank you for sharing that with us today.
Oh, no problem, anytime.
Yay. Do you have any other words of advice for our future volunteers and growing teens?
I know that it will probably sound broken record, but as high school graduates going off to venture into the next chapters into your life, remember that if you do decide to go into any career option, volunteering in certain areas will also make you very strong, and you will become internally grateful to what you learn as a volunteer as you go through your steps through your college career and into your pathway to your career as you get older. It just makes everybody, again, a win-win situation.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you, Miss Cyndi, for your wise words on volunteering. That's valuable advice, and I can't wait for our teens to have questions for you. Hopefully, we can get some questions in our comments. So
No problem. I'll be happy to answer them.
cool. Thank you, Miss Cyndi, for your time.
No problem. Thank you.